Ooh. Hey guys, Dissection of violence here. An interesting one we have today. UFC Vegas 90. Melissa Tanya Mullins versus Nora Cornolle to start off the night. Honestly, I don't really know what to think about this fight. Like, I like Melissa Mullins. I just don't like the number. I think Melissa, once it's on the ground, it's over. I think she can get a TKO. I think if Jocelyn Edwards can find success in the grappling, so can Melissa Mullins. I think that's why the price is as high as it is. But honestly, I think Melissa Mullins is a bit of a liability on the feet, and that's my only concern with this fight. Nora Canal, can she put a solid 15 minutes together? I don't know. Can she find a TKO? I don't know. But I'm gonna go with Melissa Mullins finding her way to the ground, maybe getting herself a TKO or finding a submission. I don't know. She's pretty good on top. This is a good fight though. I just don't like the number on it, so I'm gonna stay off personally. But I think Melissa Mullins is the side as far as my prediction. So moving on, we have Dylan Budka versus Cesar Almeida. I've been back and forth with this fight. Honestly, it's a really close fight. It comes down to damage versus control. I do like Budka. I do think he could probably put a solid 15 minutes together and takes Caesar to a decision and beat him that way. But I do think Caesar is going to be landing the better shots, and I do think he's going to be the one dictating the fight on the feet. Obviously, Budka, he's not bad on the feet. But I do think Caesar is a level above him, and I do think he's going to be able to land the better shots and keep the pace. Obviously, that's the biggest question: is how can he handle the pace of Budka? But I think he'll handle it all right. I know he's getting up there in age, but I think Caesar will pull through. Honestly, this is a good fight, so I can see this going to a split, being close, but I'm gonna lean Cesar Almeida, but not confident. And honestly, this is a pass spot for me. Moving on. Dan Argueta taking on Gene Matsumoto. Again, I don't know what to think. My brain's telling me Gene Matsumoto, but Dan Argueta he does things that Casey Tanner don't, and he will go to the legs a lot more. And the thing about him is he's very good at chain wrestling, and he has solid jiu-jitsu. So I do worry about that. But other than that, I do think Gene Matsumoto is a stud. Beating Casey Tanner is a task in itself, and I think him doing that is a level above. Even though he was sick, I think a level above Dan Argueta. So other than the jiu-jitsu, I do think Gene's going to be the side everywhere here. I do think this is a fun fight because if Argueta wins this fight, it means, Gene's fraud or whatever. And if Gene wins this fight, then he just moves up that much farther up the division. So I really like Gene. I think he's a really talented fighter, but this is a really, really tough fight for him as far as pace and jiu-jitsu. But I do think he'll pull through here. I do think Gene's skills are good enough. And I'm going to go with Gene by... I'm gonna go by Gene by decision. This is gonna be just a beat down like the Miles Johns fight, in my opinion. Moving on, we have Cynthia Calvillo versus Piera Rodriguez. I really like Cynthia Calvillo here. Honestly, I think Piera Rodriguez she's meh. Like she's down to scrap, but I don't think she has a process to her. And she's just too comfortable scrapping it out. She's just, another one of those Latin fighters that just likes to scrap, but has no really process behind it. I do think Calvillo is going to be, pot shotting her from range, landing the better shots, and out wrestling her and grappling her when the time comes. Honestly, this is a weird spot now. I wouldn't touch it now, but I got it in at plus 275. I honestly really like that spot because I do think Cynthia is a side. I think her grappling will be the difference, and like I said, she'll be pop shotting at range. So expect this fight to potentially go to a split decision plus 275 for that prop. I've been debating on playing that. I don't know if I will. We'll see. But I think it's a very good chance of cashing. It's just I don't think it's enough juice. They never are for enough juice, to be honest. But most of the time they're like 275, and it is what it is. But anyways, moving on. This fight got canceled, so I can move on from this one. But we got Norma Dumont versus Jermaine Durandamy. I like Norma Dumont here. Not a lot, but 4 years off and having a kid, I think, does change a person. Does it change her to the point where she's not the same fighter? Was to be seen. I'm going to lean Norma Dumont here. She's just been active, winning, beating girls. She has looked, beatable. That's why I do think Jermaine's a really good underdog play, but I had to get out of my position here on Jermaine at plus 170, and I just don't feel right about playing either side. So this is a pass spot for me. I'm just excited to watch it and see what happens. But yeah, Norma Dumont is definitely, she's definitely the one that the company wants to win for sure. Because if she wins, she's, I think, next in line for the title shot. I would think so, but yeah, definitely Norma Dumont. I'm gonna go with her in this spot, but I don't just off of rules that I make with myself, layoffs, pregnancy, all that kind of stuff. I know Jermaine's an exception; she's very, very good, but I'm still gonna go with Norma Dumont here. I do think she's good enough, but to win this fight, but I'm not gonna put any stake on this fight. Moving on, we have Court McGee versus Alex Morono. Honestly, I like Morono, but the price, again, I don't like the price. This is another one where it's like I wouldn't touch this price. I do think Court McGee is the slower fighter. He definitely is going to be having a problem, catching Morono. I think Morono's footwork is going to be superior. He's going to be pop shotting. I think if he doesn't take Morono down and keep Morono on his back, trying submissions off his back, I think, because Morono doesn't usually try to get up, he likes to play off his back. So that's a thing that I do see Court McGee having success with. But I do think Morono's smart enough to understand the game plan and work to get up in this one. So I'm going to trust in Morono here. I do think Morono wins this fight. How he wins this fight is, I don't know. I do think it's by decision, but, I could be wrong. He could somehow get a TKO, but, I don't see that happening. He needs some power to knock out Court McGee, I think. So moving on. We got Trevor Peek versus Charlie Campbell. Another great fight, but I don't really know how to make heads or tails of it because Trevor Peek I met him in Toronto, and honestly, that was the funniest interaction. It's a story for another day. But yeah, man, this guy is a lunatic when he goes out there. He tries to kill you, throwing hammer fists. This guy is just, I love watching this guy fight. And honestly, I do think he is a problem here for Campbell just because he doesn't give a shit about getting hit and he'll come back and try to kill you. I'm going to go with Campbell having a smart fight, but this is definitely I think if Sheppy Mariscal can win a fight against Trevor Peek, I think so can Charlie Campbell. So, sorry, my nose is itchy. I've been sick. Ignore all that. Charlie Campbell, I do think is the better fighter. Can he get caught 100%? But unless you're going to max bet Charlie Campbell, don't even worry about the PKO arbitrage because that's really the only shot he has of winning this fight. I can't see him winning a decision, and he probably will win a decision just because I said that. But honestly, I'm on Charlie Campbell here, and I don't think it's fairly close. Moving on, we got Walter Walker versus Lucas Brzeski. Now, when I saw this fight, I was like, man, Walter Walker, 11-0, this guy's got to be really good. And then I watched him fight. He's not that good at all. And honestly, I just think Lucas Brzeski has more of a process and can pop shot from range and land leg kicks and do enough to where he can win a decision. And although I don't think he's going to hurt Walter, I think he's gonna have enough power to where Walter's not gonna rush him. And if he does rush him, I think the new shape he's coming in is going to help him stay, good. He's always been good about getting up. I think he's going to be even better in the new shape he's in. I'm gonna lean Brzeski actually. I'm I'm not confident. I do think Walker has a definitely a path to victory. Just wrestle fucking him by decision, but I just think Lucas Brzeski is going to be in the shape and mindset to pull off an upset here. So I'm going to go with Lucas Brzeski here as an underdog. That's probably a controversial pick, but there's a few other people in the community going for it. So I'm definitely going to hop on this. Lucas Brzeski, he does enough. He throws enough out there to where he can steal decisions, where he can outpace guys. And who knows, maybe with this new physique, he can maybe become a more finishing force. So I just don't rate Walter Walker at all, and especially at chalk. So if it was me, it would be a 50-50 fight, and this is what it is. It's all on how good Walter Walker is, and I'm banking on he isn't that good. So we'll see. But yeah, moving on. Ignacio Bahamondes versus Christos Giagos. Honestly, with this fight, I really think Ignacio is going to win, just based off cardio and toughness. But honestly, Giagos is dangerous as hell, and he could catch him early, club and sub. I do think that he's very, very likely a chance of doing that. Oh, 1 second. But honestly, with this fight, I don't really want to touch it because Giagos, he knows he needs a win, and he's dangerous. Oh, sorry guys. And straight up, I just think Giagos is not at the level of Bahamondes and the game plan. Like he trains with Bilal. Like I think he's gonna have a good game plan. I think Ignacio is gonna be very, very technically sound here. He's not gonna make a lot of mistakes, and he's either gonna win a dominant decision or maybe he has to go through a close decision. But I think he's gonna maybe find a later finish in this one, and I'm gonna go with Ignacio by second or third TKO, second or third round TKO. But yeah, moving on, we got Morgan Charriere versus Shepe Mariscal. It's a good fight, really good fight. I like Shepe a lot. He brings the fight every time. He's well rounded. He's everything you want in a bet. He fights for your money. But the thing about Shepe that you can't deny is he's hittable. He's been shinned before, and he was losing the fight to Jenkins um, before the injury. So I'm definitely gonna go with Charriere here, but it's not gonna be as linear as people think. It's definitely gonna have a few scares, I think, in the first round maybe. But I'm gonna go with Charriere here. I just think he is the more complete fighter, very technical, very experienced, and I'm gonna go with Morgan Charriere here by TKO, and that's one of my more confident props on the card. Moving on. I like Shepe though. I really do. He like I said, he's everything you want in a fighter. He's just I do think Sherry is a better fighter in this one. Moving on. Damon Jackson versus Alexander Hernandez. Honestly, again, I do think this should be a linear fight, but if Hernandez doesn't do well to this weight class, 145, I think his last fight was 145. If I'm not mistaken. Um, let's see. His last fight was at 145 against Bill Algeo. Yeah. So he doesn't historically do well at 145. But Damon Jackson isn't exactly a pace pusher himself. So I'm really torn with this one because I do think Hernandez has some more skills, but Damon Jackson can be a dog and he can maybe outgrit Hernandez. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Hernandez winning this fight just off pure skill and the new camp at Team Factory X. I do think it's a factor. I think he's very, very talented, and I do think he's going to be able to win this fight against Damon Jackson. I'm going to go with Hernandez by decision, but I could see a TKO. Definitely a fight that I don't have wouldn't have a lot of chalk in, but it could be a parlay piece for sure. Moving on to the main event of the evening. Brendan All-In Allen versus Chris Action Man Curtis. I love both these guys, especially Curtis. Curtis got me tickets to watch, him fight. Or not tickets to watch him fight. Sorry, tickets to go to the weigh-ins, and I'll never forget that. The guy's a legend for that. And yeah, Brendan Allen. Met him in Vegas. I do think he's a really, really good guy as well. So it's hard to pick a winner here. I honestly I want both to win, but it's not possible unless we get a draw. So I got to go with Brendan Allen, just because technically I think he's the better fighter. But I think Chris Curtis is definitely dangerous and could outdog him. Even though I have a gut feeling this isn't. I just don't think this is gonna go Curtis's way this time, but it's a gut feeling. I like Curtis a lot, and I'm rooting for both of them in a way. Like, I don't want either of them to lose. I just hope it's a good fight, and it's close. I honestly don't really care who wins. So I think Allen's gonna win just based off of skill. I think he's a bit better, but maybe Curtis wins again easily and shuts me out. It is what it is. I really like both guys, and I hate to sit on the fence here, but I'm gonna have to pick Allen, but I'm not confident, if that makes sense. Alrighty, guys. Top 5 picks. You love when I do that, I guess. So I'm going to go with. Sucks Haley Tank fight game is off. So I'm going to go with Matsumoto as my number 1 pick. Number 2 would be Morono. Number 3 would be Mullins. Number 4 would be Bahamondes. And number 5 would be Hernandez. Alrighty, guys. Like, subscribe. You know the drill. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, alright? Stay positive, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.